Update after update. That's what the Blue Origin CEO has been delivering continuously over the past few days. Yet despite the frequent updates, nothing has changed. New Glenn has neither flown nor even been tested. Recently, Dave Limp provided yet another explanation for the ongoing delays. What exactly happened and how will these setbacks impact Blue Origin's future? After that, we'll take a closer look at the successful return of Dragon CRS-31. So with that, let's dive into all of this in today's episode of Great SpaceX. It has been about a month since New Glenn was transported to the LC-36 launch pad for hot fire testing, yet no such test has been conducted. This period could easily be described as one of the most uneventful months for Blue Origin. Despite the anticipation, the company appears to be stuck in a holding pattern, offering various explanations for the delay. On December 8th, Dave Limp revealed that they were waiting for regulatory approvals, though no progress in this regard has been reported. Adding to the confusion, on December 6th, Blue Origin's CEO announced that the company was preparing for a wet dress rehearsal instead of proceeding directly to a hot fire test. According to the CEO, the WDR would take place first, pushing the hot fire test further into the timeline. For context, a wet dress rehearsal is generally one of the final steps before a launch. During this test, the rocket is fueled and systems operate as they would on launch day, except the engines are not ignited. It is a gentler process compared to a hot fire test, which involves firing the engines at full power while the rocket remains stationary. This decision raises questions about New Glenn's readiness. Why opt for a wet dress rehearsal before a hot fire test? Typically, the sequence would involve completing the more rigorous hot fire test first. Choosing a gentler test could indicate concerns about the rocket's reliability, especially since this is the first time BE-4 engines have been integrated into New Glenn. A hot fire test carries greater risks of exposing vulnerabilities such as excessive vibrations that could damage the vehicle or launch infrastructure. Any issues discovered during a hot fire test could delay subsequent testing significantly. Adding fuel to this skepticism is the repeated vertical stacking and unstacking of New Glenn after its arrival at the launch pad. This back-and-forth activity suggests that the rocket may still have unresolved issues. The conflicting updates and shifting timelines from Blue Origin further exacerbate doubts about their progress. December alone has seen a flurry of announcements ranging from payload testing for GS-1 and GS-2 to the installation of systems on their drone ship. Yet none of these updates inspire confidence that a hot fire test is imminent. If the most recent claims are accurate, the wet dress rehearsal will occur during the third week of December. This leaves Blue Origin with only the final week of the month and the year to conduct a hot fire test. However, this already tight schedule is compounded by the need for FAA approval, which, as Dave Limp himself noted, is a complicated process. Even if approval is granted, it's unlikely the test could happen immediately. Given these circumstances, it's now almost certain that New Glenn's debut flight will not occur this year. Journalist Christian Davenport previously suggested that obtaining a license in December was feasible but tight. At this point, it's clear that launching in 2024 is impossible. This delay means that 2024 will mark yet another year in which Blue Origin fails to reach orbit, a glaring underachievement considering the resources and potential at their disposal. The implications of this delay extend far beyond the New Glenn program. Missions like NASA's Escapade Mars mission, which has strict launch windows, could face setbacks. Additionally, issues with New Glenn's second stage for subsequent flights further highlight the rocket's lack of readiness. This domino effect could disrupt other high-profile projects, including launches for the U.S. Space Force's National Security Space Launch Program, Kuiper satellite deployments, and even preparations for Artemis 5. The inability to meet these obligations tarnishes Blue Origin's reputation and raises concerns about their capacity to compete with more established players like SpaceX. The lack of meaningful progress is particularly disappointing given the initial optimism surrounding New Glenn. At the start of the year, Blue Origin appeared poised to make significant strides. Jeff Bezos himself signaled a renewed focus on the company with public announcements and visits to Blue Origin's facilities. These gestures created the impression of momentum and ambition, yet as the year draws to a close, the results are underwhelming. This ongoing stagnation casts a shadow over Blue Origin's future, even before New Glenn has attempted its first orbital flight. For a company with such lofty aspirations, the dream of reaching orbit seems increasingly out of reach. At this point, one must wonder, when will Blue Origin finally launch New Glenn? Leave your predictions in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to keep up with SpaceX's incredible progress. While Blue Origin falters, SpaceX continues to redefine what's possible in space exploration. Let's stay tuned to see how the competition unfolds. SpaceX is continuing to outpace its competitors, making significant strides while others lag behind. Recently, the company completed static fire tests for the S-33 hardware slated for Flight 7. The first test, involving 6 engines, occurred on December 15th, followed by another single-engine test on December 16th. With these key milestones achieved, Flight 7 is drawing ever closer, setting the stage for more groundbreaking achievements. While Blue Origin's New Glenn remains grounded with no test flights in sight, SpaceX is preparing for its next major Starship mission, which will focus on version 2 operations. This highly anticipated flight will include another controlled landing of the Starship in the ocean, along with the second attempt by the Megazilla arm to catch the Super Heavy booster. Following this mission, all eyes will turn to the ultimate challenge, catching both stages of the Starship system. SpaceX has targeted early next year for this critical milestone, a move that would mark a historic step toward full reusability in space exploration. The stakes are high and the excitement is palpable. Will Flight 7 launch before New Glenn's debut flight? Cast your vote with a simple yes or no in the comment section down below. Looking ahead to 2025, SpaceX has ambitious plans to dramatically increase its launch cadence to as many as 25 Starship flights. Initially announced earlier this year, this goal was postponed but has resurfaced in discussions with the FAA. In November, the agency acknowledged SpaceX's revised proposal to ramp up Starship and Super Heavy operations at Boca Chica, Texas. More recently, the FAA confirmed plans to host public meetings in January, 2 in-person and 1 virtual, to address potential environmental impacts related to this proposal. The timing of these meetings is strategic, allowing decisions to be finalized early in the year. This would give SpaceX ample time to pursue its goals if the proposal is approved. The odds of success appear favorable, as the FAA is undergoing significant reforms to streamline its processes, while SpaceX enjoys robust support from both industry and government partners. With these developments, SpaceX is poised for a transformative year in 2025. Key objectives include achieving full reusability, mastering orbital refueling, surpassing 400 launches within 4 years, and advancing missions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. These milestones will solidify SpaceX's dominance, leaving slower competitors struggling to keep up. On another front, SpaceX recently completed a significant milestone with the return of Dragon CRS-31. After undocking from the International Space Station at 11:05 a.m. on December 16th, the Dragon capsule successfully splashed down off the Florida coast at 1:39 p.m. Eastern on December 17th. This mission carried thousands of pounds of equipment and experiment samples from microgravity research conducted on the ISS. Once again, Dragon demonstrated its unique capability to return valuable cargo to Earth, setting it apart from other vehicles in operation. While Northrop Grumman's Cygnus and Russia's Progress spacecraft can transport supplies to the ISS, both are expendable and primarily used for waste disposal during re-entry. Only Dragon offers the ability to retrieve useful materials from the station, making it indispensable for scientific and operational support. Following its return, NASA and SpaceX will recover the Dragon capsule to transport its cargo to NASA's Systems Processing Facility at Kennedy Space Center, where the materials will undergo further analysis. The CRS-31 mission also played a vital role in supporting ISS operations. Launched on November 4th, it delivered 2.7 tons or 6,000 pounds of cargo to the station. These resupply missions are especially critical given recent challenges, such as the extended stay of astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams on the ISS due to delays with Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. Dragon's successes continue to accumulate. The next resupply mission, CRS-32, is scheduled for March of next year. Meanwhile, SpaceX and NASA are preparing for Crew 9, a crewed mission set to launch in February. This mission will include 2 astronauts originally slated to fly aboard Starliner, highlighting SpaceX's reliability and adaptability. Beforehand, Crew 10 is expected to launch to facilitate a seamless transition of duties with Crew 9. SpaceX's contributions to ISS operations are unparalleled, underscoring the limitations of Boeing's troubled Starliner program. It's been months since any meaningful updates on Starliner, and the prolonged silence raises questions about the spacecraft's future. With Jared Isaacman set to take over as NASA administrator next year, it's plausible that he might phase out a vehicle with such a poor track record. Or in a more humorous twist, one could imagine Starliner waiting to hitch a ride aboard Blue Origin's New Glenn for its debut flight. If this unlikely scenario brings a smile to your face, feel free to drop a laugh emoji in the comments section down below. In the end, the contrast is clear. SpaceX is not just advancing its own capabilities, but reshaping the future of space exploration, while others struggle to keep pace. Starbase remains a hive of activity as the year comes to a close, with significant progress being made toward preparing for Flight 7. Following the successful static fire of Ship 33, both the booster and ship are undergoing checks in Mega Bay and Mega Bay 2. This flurry of activity has kept many, including myself, hopeful for one final launch before the year's end. However, as the days dwindle, this expectation is fading due to several contributing factors that cannot be ignored. Firstly, while the FAA has officially approved Flight 7, SpaceX has yet to announce a concrete launch date. The January 11th date being widely circulated is based on NASA's proposed timeline, not an official declaration from SpaceX. Historically, SpaceX has announced launch dates early and prominently, often accompanied by livestream schedules and other public updates. The absence of such an announcement this time suggests that certain hurdles remain unresolved. Furthermore, no credible sources have indicated any launch readiness before the close of the year, and Cameron County, responsible for road closures to ensure public safety during launches, is unlikely to approve further closures within the remaining days of 2024. Hardware complications also appear to be playing a role in the delay. Booster 14, despite its seemingly successful static fire test, exhibited peculiar behavior during its recent handling. When B-14 was moved to the production site on December 10th, it paused for 2 hours before being brought into Mega Bay. During this time, scaffolding and cranes were assembled around the booster with focused work observed on its grid fins. While it remains unclear whether these activities were routine adjustments or indicative of deeper issues, they have undoubtedly introduced further delays. Considering the extensive checklist remaining, including checks, installations, rolling, wet dress rehearsal, and flight termination system installation, the likelihood of a launch within the week is increasingly slim. Ground systems have also posed challenges following Flight 6. The tower communications system suffered a collapse, and though repaired, its long-term functionality remains under scrutiny. SpaceX may need to implement additional upgrades to ensure its reliability for the catching attempt planned on Flight 7. Additionally, the orbital launch mount and protective wall require further reinforcement and repainting to guarantee operational safety. Nearby, progress continues on upgrading the tank farm, a critical system supporting Starship's methane and liquid oxygen needs. New tanks are being installed to replace older units and expand capacity. This development ties directly to the planned increase in Starship's launch frequency in 2025, beginning with Flight 7. However, completing these upgrades may delay the mission timeline further. Simultaneously, Launchpad B has become a focal point of activity as SpaceX prepares for future missions. Components such as the water deluge manifold system, flame bucket, water-cooled deck, and chopsticks assembly structure are under construction and will soon be installed. SpaceX is likely aiming to have these systems operational by January 28th, aligning with their plans to catch a ship during Flight 8. Ensuring Launchpad B's readiness for immediate use after Flight 7 is crucial for minimizing delays between missions and maintaining their ambitious schedule for 2025. All of these factors have contributed to delays in stacking the 2 stages for Flight 7. Stacking is a critical milestone that would need to occur immediately for a 2024 launch to remain feasible. As this has not yet happened, the chances of launching this year are dwindling rapidly. While this delay may feel disappointing, it is important to remember how much SpaceX has achieved this year. Completing 4 successful Starship test flights is an extraordinary accomplishment, surpassing the expectations of many. Each flight has provided invaluable data and insights, pushing SpaceX closer to its ultimate goal of creating a reliable, reusable spacecraft capable of transforming space exploration and transportation. These achievements have laid a strong foundation for what promises to be an even more groundbreaking 2025. Looking forward, Flight 7 will undoubtedly mark the beginning of another exciting chapter for SpaceX and its supporters. As we wait for the next launch, let's remain patient and enthusiastic about SpaceX's journey. Progress in cutting-edge technology often comes with challenges, but each hurdle overcome brings us closer to a future where space is more accessible than ever before. Comment "I'm still waiting" to show your support for SpaceX's vision, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on their extraordinary developments. Together, we can continue to celebrate the achievements of this pioneering company and the bright future it is building for humanity. Let's shift the spotlight over to New Glenn. This massive rocket from Blue Origin, once touted as a game-changer in space exploration, has faced repeated delays, leading to growing frustration among enthusiasts and industry experts. If Blue Origin cannot at least complete the critical testing process this year, it would mark another major setback for the company. Unfortunately, launching in 2024 is no longer feasible, but there is finally a glimmer of progress. Dave Limp, Blue Origin's CEO, recently confirmed that the wet dress rehearsal test would be conducted first, a crucial step in validating New Glenn's systems. On December 19th, this long-awaited test appeared to take place. Reports suggest that both stages of the rocket were fueled, evidenced by strong venting activity from the vehicle. So far, no issues have been reported, which indicates that the test may have been successful. However, this initial step is merely the appetizer. The real milestone everyone has been waiting for is the hot fire test involving New Glenn's 7BE4 engines. This test will determine whether the rocket is truly ready for its debut flight. It's a high-stakes moment for Blue Origin and a critical juncture in the rocket's development. Certification for the hot fire test, as mentioned by Limp, has not yet been announced. The FAA's latest updates regarding Blue Origin focus primarily on its designation as the fourth commercial space operator and its integration with the Space Data Integrator. Based on current progress, the hot fire test might still be completed by the end of the year, provided the wet dress rehearsal results are solid and the necessary licensing is secured without delays. Even so, the inability to launch in 2024 remains a glaring disappointment. For a company with nearly a quarter-century of operation and immense potential, not yet reaching orbit is remarkable, and not in a good way. Delays with New Glenn's debut mission will also have significant downstream impacts on other key initiatives, including NASA's Mars spacecraft launch, national security space launch missions, Kuiper satellite launches, and the company's progress on its lunar rocket. Regarding the inaugural launch itself, even if the hot fire test is successful, the mission likely won't take place until at least the first half of January. Additional complications, whether from the test or the lengthy licensing process, could push the launch further. In the meantime, SpaceX fans can take solace in knowing that Starship Flight 7 will almost certainly lift off before New Glenn's debut. In fact, it's possible that Starship Flight 8, with its potential recovery of both stages, may also launch ahead of New Glenn. As the industry gears up for 2024, the competition between these two aerospace giants promises to be thrilling. The question now is how Blue Origin and SpaceX will close out the year and set the tone for the next. Let's watch closely. And for our final piece of news today, we have to talk about the Falcon 9 Blue Ghost mission update. The Blue Ghost lunar lander arrived at NASA's Kennedy Space Center on December 16th. In an update released the same day, NASA confirmed that the mission is scheduled for mid-January aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. If this timeline holds, it's likely to become the first lunar mission of 2025. The first lunar mission of 2024, however, will be astrobotic, having launched on a ULA Vulcan rocket. According to a statement from NASA official Joel Kearns and updates shared on X, the Blue Ghost mission is part of the Artemis program, though it primarily relies on private sector services. The mission, also known as Ghost Riders in the Sky, will carry 10 NASA payloads under the Commercial Lunar Payload Services Initiative. These instruments are designed to support a range of activities, including studying solar wind, lunar geology and composition, radiation levels, electrostatic systems, GPS technology, and more. In addition to scientific experiments, the mission includes two particularly intriguing activities. Blue Ghost will capture a 360-degree view of the solar eclipse caused by Earth passing between the Moon and the Sun, offering a rare and dramatic perspective. Another experiment will observe the horizon glowing with lunar dust, a phenomenon first reported by Apollo 17 astronaut Eugene Cernan. These observations will provide crucial data for future Artemis missions. The mission is expected to last approximately 60 days. Blue Ghost will first spend 25 days in Earth orbit, followed by 4 days transitioning into lunar orbit. It will then spend 16 days flying around the Moon before descending to the lunar surface. Once landed, it will operate for the remainder of its mission until its batteries and power supply are depleted during the lunar night. Expectations for this mission are high, and with the reliable support of SpaceX's Falcon 9, many are confident that both the journey and the mission's objectives will proceed smoothly. Success here will not only advance our understanding of the Moon, but also bolster humanity's aspirations of returning there under the Artemis program. What do you usually focus on after each Starship upgrade? Bigger size, increased height, or changes in the flaps and heat shield? This focus is understandable, since these external features are easily noticeable. However, many people may overlook the significant changes happening inside Starship. In fact, these internal modifications often drive the most substantial improvements with each version. Recently, Elon Musk shared some fascinating insights into the internal upgrades of Starship, giving us a glimpse into the advancements and innovations shaping its evolution. So just how remarkable are these revelations, and what other upgrades might we see in the future? Musk recently provided a rare glimpse into the interior of Starship, sharing some captivating images that have sparked intrigue. The images were shared via a tweet from an X account named Robin on December 15th. Musk reposted the tweet with the caption, "Starship is gigantic." Based on the timeline, these images likely show the interior of Starship V2. The word gigantic perfectly describes the scale. The pictures offer a perspective that emphasizes just how vast Starship's interior is, especially when compared to human scale. Workers inside the rocket appear minuscule against the backdrop of its towering walls. This enormity reminds me of the scale revealed during Flight 6, where Mr. Banana's measurement provided context. For those of us who have only seen Starship through images and videos, grasping its actual scale is challenging. I hope my team will have the chance to visit Starbase and step inside Starship one day. Witnessing this engineering marvel firsthand would be unforgettable. If that opportunity arises, perhaps we will meet there, something I eagerly anticipate. Turning to the interior design, the first image reveals several notable features. Workers are seen scaling the Starship walls and standing on a structured platform supported by triangular pillars. This platform system likely serves as a critical tool for installation and repair, offering more stability and accessibility than safety ropes alone. However, the platform's potential extends beyond maintenance. It could serve as a foundation for SpaceX to develop internal life support systems, such as creating multiple floors within the payload compartment or installing functional walls. The dense arrangement of the stands, with heights matching that of a worker, suggests their essential role in future designs. Adjacent to the workers, a large pipe is visible. Based on known designs, this pipe likely transfers fuel from the liquid oxygen header tank to the engine system below. Alternatively, it could be a methane tank pipe. An earlier revelation from August hinted at changes to the methane header tank in V2, possibly moving it to the nose cone. The position of the fuel tube suggests that future crew spaces will be situated away from the stainless steel walls. This separation not only conceals the fuel lines, but also creates ample room for astronauts to maneuver and perform repairs if necessary. The second image offers another fascinating look, this time at the bottom of the structure. Based on the design, this area is likely the interior of the liquid oxygen main tank. A curved fuel pipe leads to the center, surrounded by 4 other manifolds. Below this section, the sea-level engines are located, with fuel transferring through these pipes into the central system before reaching the engines. Interestingly, the liquid methane tank pipe is absent in this image. It would typically run straight through the center to connect directly to this system, indicating that this component might be installed later. Additionally, the sides of the tank features steps and grip points to support workers during construction or maintenance. One worker appears to be examining something, possibly a sensor, highlighting the meticulous attention to detail required in building such a complex vehicle. If you find these revelations as fascinating as I do, please respond with a "wow" in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for continued updates on SpaceX's incredible journey. Indeed, the systems we've discussed so far lay the foundation for extraordinary innovations in space exploration, capable of carrying hundreds of passengers to destinations far beyond Earth. A glimpse of what this future could look like was revealed when the first interior images of Starship's payload compartment, specifically its HLS or Human Landing System version, were shared. These images were simulated by the Space Engineer Team, a group whose efforts deserve recognition and support. I encourage everyone to follow their social media channels and subscribe to their YouTube content to motivate their continued contributions to this exciting field. Based on the simulated images, the interior of Starship's HLS version is divided into two main tanks. The upper deck serves as the primary working area, featuring astronaut seating and control systems. This space also houses crew bunks, providing individual living and resting areas for astronauts. Around this deck are vital systems, such as life support equipment, a storage system, and a system switchboard. The lower deck, on the other hand, is designed for life support systems and payload storage, including food supplies and equipment. It's highly likely that physical training systems, essential for maintaining the health of astronauts during long missions, will also be installed on this level. A staircase located at the center connects the two decks, facilitating easy movement between them. This design showcases the thoughtful planning that supports lunar missions, offering an efficient and functional layout for the crew. To get a broader understanding of Starship's interior design, we can revisit the images from its fourth test flight. The corridor system revealed a predominantly white interior, which creates a modern and spacious aesthetic. Control panels are seamlessly integrated into the walls, a design that will likely extend to other onboard systems, enhancing both functionality and visual appeal. Although the available details about Starship's crew systems are limited, what has been shared highlights the immense potential of this rocket. These features represent just a fraction of its capabilities, as Starship is ultimately designed to carry up to 100 passengers to Mars in a single trip. As Starship evolves, we can expect even more revolutionary systems and concepts. The future promises incredible advancements, and it's worth staying tuned to see how Starship continues to redefine space travel. Moving from Starship to another significant development, Axiom Space has introduced a major update regarding the Axiom space station, signaling significant progress. The company recently announced a revised module launch sequence to expedite the station's operational timeline, targeting early 2028 instead of the originally planned 2030. This adjustment likely anticipates scenarios such as Russia's potential early withdrawal from the International Space Station and the resulting increased demand for a new space station. Previously, Axiom Space planned to develop its station by building modules attached to the ISS and later separating them for independent operation. This approach included launching HAB-1 first, followed by HAB-2, the research and manufacturing facility, and finally the power thermal modules. However, in a recent update, Axiom Space's COO and Axiom Station Program Manager, Mark Greeley, revealed a revised sequence. The new plan involves launching the payload power thermal module first, followed by the HAB-1, the airlock module, HAB-2, and finally the RMF. This change enables Axiom Space to accelerate its timeline, with the PPTM module now expected to launch and operate independently as early as 2028. Subsequent models will then be added to expand the station. The PPTM module is currently under construction at the Thales Alenia Space Facility in Turin, Italy. By utilizing the same structural design as HAB-1 and 2, the construction process is streamlined, allowing for faster development. The module is scheduled to be delivered to Axiom Space's Houston headquarters no earlier than fall of 2025 for integration with its internal systems. NASA has also been closely involved in coordinating this updated assembly sequence. Angela Hart, NASA's manager for the Commercial Low Earth Orbit Development Program, stated that the revised plan supports both NASA's and Axiom Space's goals, ensuring a smooth transition in low Earth orbit operations. This sequence addresses critical needs, including reserving space on the ISS for future deorbit vehicles like SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft. More importantly, the updated plan reflects the urgency of establishing a commercial space station to replace the aging ISS. Greeley emphasized that Axiom Space's objective is to facilitate a seamless transition from government-operated to commercially run platforms, ensuring continuous human presence in orbit. This approach aims to serve a diverse community of global partners and customers, including NASA. Despite these promising updates, challenges remain. However, the revised timeline alleviates some concerns about delays in replacing the ISS. This is particularly crucial as major spacefaring nations move toward independent operations. For instance, Russia has announced plans to construct its own space station, and China is rapidly advancing its Tiangong station. By accelerating the Axiom space station's development, the U.S. can maintain a robust presence in space and safeguard its competitive edge in this critical domain. As the plan unfolds, the next few years will be pivotal. Axiom Space's progress represents an exciting step toward a future where commercial space stations play a central role in human space exploration. Let's wait and see how these ambitious plans come to life. Re-entry temperatures reaching 1500 degrees Celsius, overheating and melting are challenges faced by countless space missions. But now, SpaceX is taking a groundbreaking step to overcome these limits. Elon Musk recently unveiled an extraordinary upgrade to Starship's protective system, a metallic heat shield. Designed to endure extreme re-entry conditions, this innovation sets a new standard for spacecraft durability and performance. The world's largest rocket is poised to redefine what's possible in space exploration. How exactly will SpaceX achieve this remarkable feat? Indeed, achieving full reusability has been SpaceX's ultimate goal, and the journey has been fraught with challenges. While they've mastered controlled vertical landings and even the daring concept of catching the booster with the Mechazilla arm, one significant hurdle remains: the heat shield. Musk himself has called creating a fully and immediately reusable heat shield the biggest technology challenge remaining for Starship. Early Starship flights highlighted this difficulty, as heat shield tiles often broke or fell off during flight. The problem was most apparent during Flight 4, the first time Starship attempted re-entry. During that mission, the forward flap sustained damage, underscoring the need for significant improvements. SpaceX introduced upgrades beginning with Flight 5 on Ship 30, which yielded noticeable improvements. By Flight 6, SpaceX even removed some tiles on both sides of the ship, signaling a new phase in their testing. Officially, this move was meant to evaluate system reliability before installing catch mechanisms. But recent comments from Musk suggest another motivation entirely. He recently revealed that SpaceX is exploring an entirely new concept: the metallic heat shield. He stated metallic shielding, supplemented by ullage gas or liquid film cooling, is back on the table as a possibility. This approach includes two key innovations: switching to a metallic material for the heat shield and integrating a supplementary cooling system using ullage gas or liquid film cooling. The shift to a metallic heat shield marks a revolutionary step forward. Up until now, the heat shields on Starship prototypes have been made of ceramic tiles. While these materials have proven effective, the switch to metal could offer several advantages. In 2019, Musk hinted at this possibility, mentioning a stainless steel heat shield as part of an advanced Starship design. He rioted that stainless steel is not only cost-effective, priced at only $3 per kilo compared to $200 per kilo for high-quality carbon fiber, but also highly durable. At the time, SpaceX tested a large metallic tile with a flamethrower, demonstrating its ability to withstand temperatures up to 1100 degrees Celsius or 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, SpaceX is utilizing an even higher grade material, 304L stainless steel. This promises enhanced performance and resilience, potentially making the metallic heat shield a game-changing addition. The decision to remove tiles during Flight 6 may have been part of testing the capabilities of this material under the extreme conditions of re-entry. Observations from the flight revealed slight discoloration and deformation of the stainless steel, but no significant damage, proving its immense potential. Moving forward, SpaceX will likely focus on reinforcing the material to improve its durability and reliability. In addition to the material change, the heat shield will incorporate a supplementary cooling system. This system could employ either Ullage gas or liquid film cooling to enhance the shield's effectiveness. Water, methane, and nitrogen are among the most likely candidates for the cooling agents. Water is a straightforward option, while methane, as Starship's primary fuel, would simplify the transfer process for heat shield support. Nitrogen, which is also stored at Starbase, could serve as an inert gas to form a protective layer between the ship and the superheated plasma encountered during re-entry. This combined system will essentially transform Starship into what Musk described as a stainless steel sandwich. The concept involves flowing a cooling agent, such as water or fuel, between two layers of stainless steel. Tiny perforations on the outer layer allow the cooling agent to bleed through, dissipating heat during re-entry. This mechanism, known as a transpirational heat shield, is designed to absorb and manage the extreme temperatures Starship will encounter, potentially exceeding 1500 degrees Celsius. These upgrades aim to create a heat shield capable of rapid and repeated reuse. By overcoming the melting point of current materials, SpaceX moves closer to achieving a fully reusable spacecraft. When combined with the company's efforts to catch both the Super Heavy booster and the Starship itself, this innovation promises to redefine reusability in the aerospace industry. Of course, challenges remain. The integration of additional systems like transpirational cooling adds complexity and mass, which could impact the spacecraft's overall performance. Reliability is another hurdle, as any failure in the heat shield system could jeopardize an entire mission. SpaceX will need to address these issues through rigorous testing and continued innovation. What do you think about SpaceX's metallic heat shield concept? Do you have suggestions or ideas for improving the system? Let us know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on SpaceX's groundbreaking developments. Together, we're witnessing a new era in space exploration, one step closer to making life multiplanetary. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. SpaceX's ambitions for Starship extend far beyond Earth, targeting destinations with even greater challenges. One of the primary goals, and the very reason Starship was created, is Mars. To achieve this, the heat shield will need to become significantly stronger. A few days after Flight 6, SpaceX released images of heat shield materials being tested in a simulated Martian atmosphere. These tests, featured in the Flight 6 livestream, are intended to prepare for the first Mars mission planned for 2026. Initially, it seemed as though these tests used the same heat shield materials currently in use, but upon closer inspection of SpaceX's posts, it appears the materials may have been upgraded. There is even speculation that this could involve the long-discussed metallic heat shield. Mars presents unique re-entry challenges. While its atmosphere is thinner than Earth's, re-entry is far from simple. Test conditions shown in SpaceX's footage depicted flames turning blue and purple, indicating temperatures between 1400 and 1700 degrees Celsius sustained over time. The heat shield materials, while resilient, displayed some cracking under these conditions, suggesting further enhancements are necessary for reliability. These upgrades must occur continuously over the next 2 years to achieve the ultimate goal of a successful Mars mission. For now, upcoming Starship flights will be critical for testing and iterating on the current ceramic tile system. In Starship V2, the heat shields will likely be strengthened in preparation for more demanding conditions. While the materials themselves may not yet change, incremental improvements will provide valuable data to advance their performance. Flight 7, for instance, is expected to feature a steeper re-entry angle than Flight 6, which already pushed the limits compared to previous flights. This increased difficulty will test the heat shield's ability to handle great thermal loads. Beginning with Flight 8, SpaceX plans for Starship to attempt landings using the Mechazilla arm, an even more challenging maneuver. The heat shield must function flawlessly to protect the vehicle during re-entry and ensure it's in a condition suitable for reuse. Each flight brings us closer to Starship's ultimate potential, and the performance of its heat shield will play a pivotal role in these developments. Shifting gears, SpaceX also continued its dominance in other areas with the recent Falcon 9 mission. On December 16th at 7:52 p.m. Eastern, SpaceX launched its 126th Falcon 9 from LC-39A, delivering a secret military payload. Although the mission's details were classified, the payload was revealed to be a GPS satellite system under the Rapid Response Trailblazer, or RRT-1 designation. Originally scheduled for December 13th, the launch was delayed due to weather. While this mission might not seem groundbreaking, it underscores SpaceX's growing influence in the military and government launch markets. Notably, the payload, GPS-3 SV-07, was initially set to launch aboard ULA's Vulcan rocket in late 2025. However, delays with Vulcan prompted its reassignment to Falcon 9 earlier this year. According to Colonel James Horn, we decided to pull SV-07 out of storage and try to get it to the launch pad as quickly as possible. It's our way of demonstrating that we can be responsive to operator needs with NSSL-class missions. This situation highlights SpaceX's reliability and flexibility compared to its competitors. ULA is currently responsible for launching GPS-3 SV-07, 08, and 09, while SpaceX is tasked with SV-10. However, the reassignment of SV-07 is an example of how SpaceX is steadily capturing a larger share of the military and government launch market. In the National Security Space Launch Program, the largest government launch contract, SpaceX has outpaced ULA largely due to Vulcan's delays and ongoing certification hurdles. Although Vulcan has flown 2 missions, persistent issues have slowed its progress, putting ULA at risk of losing critical market share. Meanwhile, SpaceX continues to demonstrate its reliability by meeting tight schedules and successfully completing missions. Their operational efficiency and capability to adapt are proving invaluable as they strengthen their position in both commercial and government sectors. If Vulcan doesn't achieve significant progress soon, ULA's foothold in this competitive market could erode further. As SpaceX marches forward, it's clear their technological advancements and operational consistency are reshaping the aerospace industry. With their eyes set on Mars and continued success across all domains, SpaceX remains the leader to watch. The question now is whether their competitors can rise to meet the challenge or be left behind. As the saying goes, the more launches, the more landings. Does anybody actually say that? While Mechazilla arms are Starship's primary landing method, can they handle SpaceX's ambitious launch schedule? Landing on drone ships, complete with a Starship's iconic landing legs, presents a fascinating alternative. What upgrades are needed, and how might this shape SpaceX's future goals? One of the most exciting shifts in 2025 will be the move toward full reusability. Instead of landing Starships and Super Heavy boosters at sea, SpaceX plans to use Mechazilla arms to catch these vehicles upon their return. This method is integral to SpaceX's long-term vision of reducing costs and maximizing efficiency. However, Mechazilla isn't the only method being considered. The concept of landing on drone ships, which has been highly successful with Falcon 9 rockets, is also a potential solution for Starship. The idea of drone ship landings for Starship has been part of various SpaceX proposals, including the plans to launch 44 Starships annually from Florida and 25 from Starbase. For the Florida operations, drone ships could be stationed in the Atlantic Ocean to recover both Starships and Super Heavy boosters. Similarly, for Starbase, SpaceX has identified 4 potential drone ship zones: the Indian Ocean in collaboration with Australia, the Middle Pacific Ocean near Hawaii, the Northeast Pacific, and the Southeast Pacific. Additionally, the Gulf of Mexico might serve as a recovery area for Super Heavy landings, providing another option to enhance flexibility. Transitioning to drone ship landings will necessitate significant modifications to Starship's design, as the current version is optimized for Mechazilla arm catches. One of the most notable changes would be the addition of landing legs. While this idea might seem counter to SpaceX's recent design philosophy, many, including myself, find rockets with landing legs visually compelling. It's just something about those legs. More importantly, landing legs are a practical solution for stabilizing Starship or Super Heavy after touchdown on a drone ship. Unlike a fixed system on a platform, legs provide versatility and eliminate the need for additional complex systems on the drone ship. This approach has been proven effective with Falcon 9, whose foldable legs ensure stability during recovery. If applied to Starship, the legs would need to be significantly larger and more robust to accommodate its size and mass. For example, Starship and Super Heavy are taller and heavier than Falcon 9's first stage, necessitating longer and stronger legs for optimal balance. These legs would also need to fold seamlessly to avoid creating unnecessary bulk during launch and flight. In addition to modifying Starship itself, the drone ships would require substantial upgrades. Compared to Falcon 9's drone ships, those for Starship would need to be much larger and more durable. This increase in size would accommodate Starship's massive scale and upgraded landing legs. Furthermore, the durability of the drone ships would need to withstand the immense forces generated during landings. For context, Super Heavy's thrust is currently around 7,000 tons, expected to rise to 8,000 with version 2 and over 10,000 in later iterations. Starships, meanwhile, could reach up to 2,800 tons in future versions. Even though only a few gimbal engines are used for landing, the structural demands on the drone ship are considerable. The dry mass of Starship and Super Heavy is also significantly greater than that of Falcon 9's first stage. Super Heavy weighs approximately 300 tons, while Starship comes in at about 100. These factors necessitate reinforced drone ships that can safely recover and transport the vehicles back for refurbishment. Despite these challenges, the benefits of drone ship landings are substantial. One of the most significant advantages is their ability to share the workload with Mechazilla. As launch frequency increases, relying solely on a single landing method would be impractical. Drone ships offer a complementary solution, enhancing the versatility and adaptability of the Starship program. Drone ship landings also provide unparalleled flexibility. Since these platforms are mobile, they can be positioned anywhere in the ocean, allowing Starship to optimize its return path without expending extra fuel to reach a fixed landing site. This capability is particularly advantageous for missions requiring high payload delivery, where every kilogram of saved fuel matters. Another key advantage of drone ship landings is the enhanced safety they offer. By recovering Starship and Super Heavy in the middle of the ocean, SpaceX minimizes the risk to human populations in the event of an anomaly. The ocean acts as a natural buffer, reducing the potential impact of debris or unplanned explosions. Additionally, drone ship landings could play a crucial role in expanding Starship's global reach. For example, the Starbase plan includes the potential for collaboration with Australia in the Indian Ocean. In this scenario, Starships could land on drone ships and be towed to Australian shores for refurbishment, paving the way for deeper international cooperation. Over time, this model could lead to the establishment of new launch sites in partner countries, further enhancing Starship's influence worldwide. The effectiveness of drone ship landings has already been demonstrated through Falcon 9's remarkable track record. To date, Falcon 9 has completed over 300 successful landings, significantly reducing production costs and increasing operational efficiency. Extending this proven method to Starship would amplify its benefits, given the vehicle's larger scale and mission versatility. As SpaceX continues to innovate, the combination of Mechazilla catches and drone ship landings could become a cornerstone of the Starship program. Do you believe SpaceX will achieve this vision? If so, comment yes in the comments. Then, like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on SpaceX's incredible journey as they continue to redefine the future of space exploration. Of course, landing Starship on a drone ship equipped with landing legs represents a bold and long-term vision for SpaceX's future. This approach aligns closely with SpaceX's overarching goals of exploring and establishing a presence on other celestial bodies like the Moon and Mars. Landing legs are an indispensable component for missions to other worlds. On the Moon or Mars, stable and adaptable landing mechanisms are essential, as these terrains are often uneven, littered with rocks, and riddled with cracks. This requirement was highlighted by Elon Musk himself in 2023. In response to a SpaceX tweet showcasing the synchronized landing of 2 Falcon Heavy boosters, Musk emphasized, "And that's how we will land on Mars." This statement not only underscored the importance of landing legs, but also provided a glimpse into SpaceX's future ambitions. For lunar missions, the Starship HLS prototypes have already showcased preliminary landing leg designs, including both foldable and fixed models. These prototypes reflect the challenges of adapting Starship for celestial bodies with unique environmental demands. For Mars missions, while the specific landing leg design has yet to be officially revealed, it is expected that SpaceX will unveil these details soon, especially as the timeline for launching the first crewed mission to Mars approaches within the next 2 years. Landing on drone ships with legs serves as a critical testbed for perfecting these designs. By demonstrating the feasibility and reliability of landing legs on Earth, SpaceX can gather valuable data to refine the technology for use on the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Each celestial body poses unique challenges, requiring iterative research and development to adapt the landing system accordingly. However, before achieving these ambitious goals, SpaceX must first address the immediate challenges posed by Starship's upcoming missions. The key to any successful landing, whether using Mechazilla arms or landing legs, is a robust re-entry system. Starship must endure the extreme heat and stress of re-entry, making its heat shield system one of the most critical elements of the spacecraft. The protective tiles must function flawlessly to ensure the vehicle's structural integrity during this demanding phase. In addition to the heat shield, other essential systems include the navigation aids such as flaps and engines. These systems must not only function reliably, but also integrate seamlessly to guide Starship through its descent. The performance of these components will play a decisive role in determining the feasibility of landing Starship on drone ships and other surfaces. Indeed, SpaceX's vision for Starship heralds a new era of innovation and exploration. With each successful launch and landing, the company is moving closer to realizing a future where reusable spacecraft routinely traverse the Earth, Moon, and Mars. Among the many potential landing methods, Starship equipped with the landing legs and landing on drone ships evokes a sense of nostalgia and excitement. It recalls the early days of Falcon 9 landings while pushing the boundaries of what is possible. In this vision of the future, Starship will lift off with a thunderous roar, traverse the heavens, and return triumphantly to Earth. The sight of a massive spacecraft gracefully descending onto a drone ship with landing legs will be nothing short of extraordinary. With SpaceX's rapid pace of development, this future may be closer than we think. Let us prepare to witness what could be the most thrilling chapter in SpaceX's history, aptly titled The Return of the King, Chapter Drone Ship. This era of innovation promises excitement, progress, and the reaffirming of SpaceX's role as a pioneer in space exploration. United Launch Alliance, a long-standing aerospace giant that has been losing ground to SpaceX for years, is no exception. Recently, ULA unveiled a bold and ambitious plan to upgrade its new rocket Vulcan in an attempt to compete with Starship in the future. The name of this plan? Vulcan Heavy. Sounds formidable, doesn't it? But how exactly will Vulcan change in this upgraded version? What challenges might it face? And most importantly, will it be enough to challenge SpaceX and its Starship? The term heavy in the aerospace industry often signifies a rocket with enhanced capabilities, typically achieved by making it larger, more powerful, and capable of carrying greater payloads. SpaceX has its Falcon Heavy, an upgraded version of the Falcon 9, while ULA has its Delta IV Heavy, an enhanced version of the Delta IV. These heavy variants generally follow a straightforward principle, adding boosters to the first stage to augment thrust and, in turn, payload capacity. ULA's Vulcan Heavy plans seem to follow this established formula. In a recent interview with Reuters, ULA CEO Tory Bruno revealed that the Vulcan Heavy upgrade would involve 3 Vulcan boosters joined together, resembling the approach SpaceX used with the Falcon Heavy. This new configuration would replace the current solid rocket boosters on Vulcan with additional liquid-fueled core boosters. The solid boosters, each generating about 210 tons or 463,000 pounds of thrust, currently complement Vulcan's main core, which produces 498 tons or 1,100,000 pounds of thrust using two BE-4 engines. With two solid boosters, Vulcan's liftoff thrust is around 918 tons or over 2 million pounds. In its new configuration as Vulcan Heavy, the rocket would consist of three main cores powered by six BE-4 engines, delivering a total thrust of approximately 1,494 tons or 3,300,000 pounds. Such an increase in thrust would dramatically enhance its payload capacity, positioning Vulcan Heavy as a competitive option in the heavy lift rocket market. However, Bruno suggested that the design might incorporate some innovative elements, stating, "We will have other Vulcan configurations that are pretty unique, that have propulsion in unusual places." This indicates that ULA may explore new engineering solutions to further optimize Vulcan Heavy's capabilities. The increased payload capacity would allow Vulcan Heavy to carry much larger cargo into various orbits. Currently, Vulcan can lift 27.2 tons to low Earth orbit, 15.3 tons to geostationary transfer orbit, 7 tons to geostationary Earth orbit, and 12.1 tons to translunar injection. In its upgraded version, these numbers could double or even triple, potentially matching or surpassing SpaceX's Falcon Heavy. This improvement aligns with ULA's goal of maintaining competitiveness in the evolving space industry. Bruno emphasized this point by stating, "We've recently completed a big trade study for what we want to have to be competitive in a future LEO market. This modification to Vulcan gives us significantly more mass to LEO and puts us in a competitive range." With these changes, ULA aims to expand its influence in commercial space markets, particularly in LEO, a domain currently dominated by SpaceX. While ULA does not have its own satellite constellation like Starlink, it seeks to compete indirectly by supporting Amazon's Kuiper project. This collaboration could help ULA establish a foothold in the growing satellite broadband market. At the same time, ULA will continue to prioritize its traditional strength in military and government payload launches. However, this sector is becoming increasingly competitive as SpaceX steadily wins contracts to these areas, offering cost-effective and innovative solutions. Despite these promising developments, the Vulcan Heavy upgrade faces challenges. ULA has been overshadowed by SpaceX in recent years, with its older rockets retired and Vulcan's development slower than anticipated. The success of the Vulcan Heavy will depend on whether it can meet performance expectations and secure a significant share of the market. What do you think of the Vulcan Heavy upgrade? Can it rival SpaceX's rockets, particularly Starship? Comment yes or no below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments in space exploration. Indeed, it's clear to me that the Vulcan Heavy will not be able to beat Starship or even compete effectively with SpaceX's Falcon rockets. To start, ULA hasn't even fully developed the original Vulcan rocket. After years of delays, Vulcan finally launched its first flight in early 2024, but it took 10 months to follow up with a second flight. That second flight faced issues with the solid rocket boosters, resulting in a prolonged delay in gaining military and government launch certification, which likely won't come until early next year. Meanwhile, their third mission isn't expected until April of 2025, and let's not forget the backlog of missions awaiting Vulcan, such as the Dream Chaser, NSSL, and Kuiper contracts. In my opinion, development on Vulcan Heavy can only realistically begin once Vulcan itself becomes fully operational, which might not happen until late 2025. To put this into perspective, SpaceX launched the Falcon Heavy 8 years after the debut of Falcon 9. Even assuming ULA can accelerate this timeline, the Vulcan Heavy is unlikely to debut or achieve operational status this decade. Bruno admitted as much when he stated that Vulcan Heavy's development would likely be completed when Starship begins its activities in LEO. His additional comment, "We're not going to be facing SpaceX in that particular marketplace for a while," further underscores a lack of confidence in Vulcan Heavy's immediate relevance. By the time Vulcan Heavy finally launches, SpaceX's rockets will likely have already reached unparalleled levels of achievement. For instance, Falcon 9 hit 130 launches launches in 2024 and is aiming for more than 180 in 2025. Those numbers will only increase in the years ahead. Starship, meanwhile, is expected to end the year conducting 6 flights and will likely ramp up to 25 flights in 2025, with projections of 400 in total over the next 4 years. During this time, Starship will also achieve milestones like reaching the Moon and Mars. If Vulcan Heavy debuts in the late 2020s, it will face competitors that are far beyond its capabilities. The challenges extend beyond timing. Vulcan Heavy's design requires additional engines, but its reliance on Blue Origin's BE-4 engines presents a significant bottleneck. Blue Origin's production rate for these engines has been notoriously slow, and with the New Glenn rocket expected to fly more frequently in the coming years, the supply chain for Vulcan engines may become even more constrained. This dependency sharply contrasts with SpaceX's self-sufficiency in engine production, an advantage that enhances their flexibility and speed. In terms of cost and capability, Vulcan Heavy appears to fall short. While it might carry more payload than the Falcon rockets, it'll do so at a much higher cost. Vulcan's current launch price is $110 million, whereas Falcon 9 costs around $69 million per launch, and Falcon Heavy is $97 million when reusable or $150 million if expendable. If Vulcan Heavy becomes operational, its launch cost could exceed $200 million, an exorbitant amount for only a marginal increase in payload capacity. In contrast to Starship, which offers an unmatched payload capacity, its V1 iteration can carry between 50 to 100 tons, while the V2 version exceeds 100 tons, and the largest model, the V3, is capable of more than 200 tons. Despite this, Starship's current expendable launch cost is $100 million, already lower than Vulcan and likely much cheaper than Vulcan Heavy. Furthermore, SpaceX aims to reduce Starship's launch cost to just a measly $2 million, an astonishingly low figure, about 100 times cheaper than Vulcan Heavy's likely costs. But what truly sets SpaceX apart is reusability. While Falcon rockets are only partially reusable, they have already set industry benchmarks. The Falcon booster reuse record stands at 24 flights, with a turnaround time of just 13 days. These milestones have allowed SpaceX to cut costs significantly and increase launch frequency. Starship's full reusability takes this advantage to an entirely new level. It'll not only drastically reduce costs, but also enable a launch cadence that ULA simply cannot match. With its flexibility, capacity, and speed of development, Starship leaves no room for Vulcan Heavy to compete. ULA is also grappling with broader issues that undermine its ability to compete. Years of delays with Vulcan have placed the company in a precarious position. There have even been discussions about selling ULA to a new owner. Bruno's refusal to address these questions in a recent interview only deepened suspicions about the company's future. Additionally, ULA has seen a significant brain drain, with many experienced engineers leaving to join competitors, including SpaceX. This loss of talent further erodes ULA's competitiveness. Given all these factors, it's difficult to imagine Vulcan Heavy making a meaningful impact. Between the high costs, developmental delays, and an inability to match SpaceX's innovation, it's clear that Vulcan Heavy will struggle to remain relevant in the rapidly advancing aerospace industry. ULA's aspiration to surpass SpaceX and Starship seems nearly impossible, even with the proposed Vulcan Heavy. The company faces numerous challenges in design, capability, and execution before they can develop a heavy version capable of competing with SpaceX. For now, ULA's priority should be ensuring its own survival and getting the original Vulcan into reliable operation. Lofty ambitions like Vulcan Heavy may remain out of reach for the foreseeable future. That said, if ULA can successfully navigate these obstacles, the Vulcan Heavy plan could still hold promise. It's a concept worth exploring, but the road ahead will undoubtedly be long and challenging. Let's see if ULA can rise to the occasion. And with that, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, this has been Kevin from Great SpaceX. Until next time, keep looking up.